Good evening. Welcome to my latest project. This is a watch for Pip. Pip, or Claire, is a friend of mine, a very special friend, a lovely friend, and more than a friend. But there's a problem. She hasn't got a watch, which I had to put right because you just do. A lady without a watch is like an Englishman without an umbrella. It's just bad form. So I've decided to uh, restore one and get it ready for her. And this is it. It's an electric one. It's a Seiko. It's a Seiko ZN82, which are very common for ladies' watches. They come in all sorts of cases and styles. Very reliable, as all Seikos are. And this is my adventure in stripping it down. Just a general refurb, new battery, a few scratches, polish the jewellery, and give it to Pip. You can see here, I'm also from a different perspective. I've got an app now where I can have film on two cameras, and I can swap quite quickly and easily. So when my big fat ugly head gets in the way, I can quickly swap cameras. So that's something I'm working on. So I've used this video as a bit of an experiment. Again, I'm narrating post production, as we say in trade. It's twice as fast, and all I'm doing now, pulling it apart and checking it. That buckle's got a bend, and that gets me all through this rebuild. But the watch is in good condition. All I'm doing now, because I'm giving it to Pip, she don't want we're wearing a watch where it's got other people's skin cells and all the dirt and debris on it. So it was always planned to strip it down and polish it. Take the strap off and pull the bracelet apart and scrape off all the crud, what inevitably collects. Have a look inside, see if I can see anything. The crystal had a few scratches on it, but I did remove them quite successfully. The seal, the rubber O-ring there, the waterproof seal, I'm sure you'll see in a minute, it was ruptured. It wasn't quite a circle, it had a nip. It had clearly been nipped together. So, yeah, you see it there. So I need to put new gaskets in it. Pull the watch out, drop the movement out, and just have a general look. But like electronic watches, there's not much I can do with electronic watch, to be fair, unless it's something really obvious. So we'll do that. It's just mainly a clean up and an experimentation or a learning thing with the multiple cameras. I could even, I think, considering once I get a little bit better, add a third camera and just keep swapping it around. It's so once you've done it, and it's so easy because it syncs all the different video streams together, just that automatically. What I do when I turn it on, I clap, and in several stages, and it hears that and it syncs on that. So, but back to the watch. I've got it apart. I'm just scraping all the crud off. I'm on watchmaker's paper there, which is it's very thin, like tracing paper, but there's no fibres on it, so it's excellent for watchmaking. Again, Seiko cases, very good stainless steel, very easy to polish. I've pulled it apart now, got everything out, and that's obviously all going in my ultrasonic, which I am looking around for a bit more of an industrial one. Mine's a bit toy one really, but it works. So get all the parts in there, give them a clean. Several parts went on the bench grinder for a polish. The buckle, I always like doing buckles because it's a nice big, it's curved for the wrist, but it's quite flat, and that's always nice to polish. And stainless steel is a beautiful thing to polish. You sand down to take the depth of the scratch, and then just go lighter and lighter, and it's easy to get a nice polish on that. So it's going in there. I think I had like 3 10-minute cycles. And what I've got in there is ammonia. I've got you'll see them in a moment, the products. I just use that, a little teaspoonful of that, and that's ammonia. And boy, that does, I won't call it a smell, it's more than that. It's more of a kicking nose. It's very pungent and it does sting. And it's sometimes that potent I can see like little shimmering from it. So, but it does clean. It cleans well, but you must remember to rinse after. That's all the parts done. So they've all been. I've rubbed all the big stuff off. Got it through the ultrasonic, and I'm just wiping it down, making it sure because you don't want water to dry on polished gear because you leave dry spots. So it's just general cleaning. But I've enjoyed it, this one, because A, I've got the two cameras. Although this section I didn't do the overhead one. I thought I'd switched the camera on, actually, and I hadn't. So that's that. And it's just focusing. I like, polishing up the case and the bracelet. And that's a bit of a skill, and I focused on that a little bit. I've got some different soaps and mops. I've even got I've even got it on the lathe, and I did try to film on the lathe, but the vibration it wouldn't get it. So I'll come back to that one. But it's going. I'm putting it back together now. I've polished the glass, and all you do again, you rub that on some wet and dry and get finer and finer. I've got some diamond cutting paste, and that really does bring a nice shine to it. Smaller. This watch is only about 25mm in diameter. So I did struggle getting the pins in. The spring bars are normally quite easy. So you saw me then, I put some new ones in because they were all cruddy, and when you get them out, they're all covered in gunge. So I'm just starting to put it back together now. Oh, my coffee. I ran a cup of coffee then. It has took me, once I got going, it's only took me about a week, but it's still, they are time consuming. You put a lot of time into it. And that's without the video in. I spend a lot of time setting up the cameras. The editing's took all afternoon. Probably lost half of what I originally filmed because it's, you want to, some jobs are quite simple. They sometimes can take quite a while, and you don't want to be sitting there watching them. So that's why I sort of skirt through it, and that's why I think narrating after I've done it is going to stay. I don't like it. I feel a bit daft, but it's by the time you've edited and chop up any dialogue you've already done, it's you cut that out as well. So it's not good enough. So I just have to get used to it. Okay, so all back. Finally managed to get those pins in. Some serious editing there because it took me ages, but I got there okay. When I say ages, it just seems it when you're watching it back on video. It's not, it's normally only like 5 minutes, but when you're watching it, so I try and keep it short. What I do there, I'm just checking the case and the seal sits okay because that's the new one. And what I do, that's a watch movement holder. That's like a mini vise, so you put that in. So what I'm going to do with that, I put it in there and it holds it squarely and it holds it firmly. So what I do, I polish that, I rub that on my mop in the garage with various soaps and stuff and file it all up. And then I give it that brush effect. So I rub it on sandpaper to get the brush effect, and that works well. What I'm doing now, I'm getting ready to put it back, and there's nothing worse than smudges, fingerprints on the inside of the face. So that's a very small part of IPA, and I found that's the best cleaner for for crystals at the moment. I'm going to try white vinegar next. How we used to do it on cars back in the day. I've just put it in, cleaned it. I've got that watchmaker's paper there, trying to get it on. It's the smudges and it's on obviously the face is the most visible part, and you don't want a smudge because once you see it, it drives you mad. So that's not bad. The IPA is quite potent stuff I'm using. So at this point now, I'm getting ready to put the movement in. You don't want no dry spots as it evaporates, because IPA evaporates quickly. but it still can leave little spots of residue. So that's why I'm using that air blower, just to shift any big lumps of liquid and just trying to keep it dry. Didn't go bad really. It's a smaller case, and to be fair, smaller ones are more awkward because you can't get your hands in and you can't do your things. That is a pot. I think it's like a Vaseline, and I put a new rubber O-ring in there, and you put it in that pot, and it's got two bits of sponge on, and you squeeze it together, and it flattens it, keeps it flat, and also applies a little bit of, I'm sure it's like a Vaseline, just to protect the rubber. So when you don't want to tighten it, when you're screwing your case back down, you don't want to nip and buckle, and you get it, and it'll just tear it because it's only 0.6 of a mil. So I'm just seeing if I've got the right one, because they're aftermarket. Again, I bought them off my friends in China. So I'm just making sure it does fit, because there was 3 different sizes. What measured that? What the measurement tag got, but it's always, I'm not quite sure. But it does fit well. It's a little bit thinner than the Seiko one. This is, I think these are 0.4. I think the Seiko was a 0.5. So you've got to be a bit careful on that. But that's probably the next thing, is a case water tester, whereas you just pump your air into the chamber, lower the watch in, and release the pressure and see if it leaks. Obviously, you do it without the movement in, but it's that'll be the next thing. They're not a couple £100, but serious kit. So now we're getting to run. The reason I had my hand over there is I use that as an editor. It's a bit like a clapboard on, when they say action, and a clipboard thing, and they snap it together. That's my version. That's a cheap version. What we're doing there, I was showing you the size of Pip's arm, which is a petite little thing, lovely little thing, but there you go. And that's the arm. I've gauged it up very roughly. So what I'm doing now, clearly putting the back on. I'll polish it up again, and I'll set the clasp for what I think is Pip's wrist, and I'll let you know how that turns out at the end. But it's going, I'm quite pleased with it now. And the batteries have come. That's a new battery. What I was showing you at the beginning. I have no idea the length of this. I've got no equipment to test them. I probably won't, because I'm not that into electrical watches. I've done a few, but it's just for £4. It's just a battery, of course, just stick a new battery in. Of course, I didn't have this one, so I had to buy some from Amazon. Just sticking that in. I've got my finger cuffs as well, because I didn't have the finger cuffs I was earning, because I'd ran out, and they're those little condom things for your fingers. They're anti-static, and they stop the grease getting on. I'm just centering the movement now with the face, so it's the center of the face is on, and center of the watch case. It did take a little bit of pushing, and there's like that green clip. Just wasn't seated squarely. It's just a matter of just leveling it up. Again, you're constantly blowing, because it's the tiniest speck, and it'll always end up somewhere where it's not supposed to, and you see it, and it drives you bonkers. A bit like when you get an air bubble on your phone when you put a screen on it. So that's all in. At this point now, the watch is we're rocking and rolling. It's pretty much all over bar shouting. Again, that case, I've polished all the sides, and you can see the brush effect on that case back there. I thought I had some material to film it, but I've lost it somewhere. But it looks nice, stainless steel. You get it really polished, and just lightly rub it over some 300 grit paper, and you just got to keep it even and the same every time. This is a tool I'm quite chuffed I finally got. It's a case back opener. It's a big granddaddy of watch backs, and I wanted this because I had a couple of movements that had to be waterproof or water resistant, and they need to be really tight, and sometimes you can't get them off, and those little vice things you get, They are scratch making machines really, but this is a more professional, and you can get lots of power in it, and it did work. I had one, I just couldn't get it off. It was slipping, and of course every slip is a scratch. So this is it's just a vice and a turntable where you just adjust it, put your pins in, and you can apply. I mean, it's a big chunk of metal. It must be 300 millimeters high, and you got a huge handle at the top. But you can, and with this being a slightly smaller O-ring, I gave this, as much as I dare. So some bugger will trying to change the battery in a few years' time, and they'll think, Jesus, that was on time. But that's it. At that stage, we're all done. Well, we'll join it up. Put the clasp on. That clasp, I love doing the clasp. They're just so lovely to polish, and that's what you do. You polish it to a really good shine, and then you rub it over some. You sometimes use nylon Scotch-Brite pads. They'll do it, although I find they're not very deep. It's stainless steel, and it's stainless steel good. It's reasonably hard. The spring bars leave some bit to be desired. They look a bit scabby, so I had to change them. They go in okay. These sort of things fiddly, but that's a watch. What do you expect? That went to a treat, didn't it? That made me look good. I did think that. I don't think there was an edit there. I did think it actually went that good, but I could be wrong. I know the other one about to edit it. For some reason, it just wouldn't go in. I think sometimes as well when you put new spring bars on, and I have done this. I did this when I put the strap on the case. I changed the spring bar and I couldn't get it in. So I'm setting it to what I think is PiP's dimensions. I have noticed that loop there. That's a bend. That curve is far too sharp, and I tried taking it out, and I did a little, but I'm thinking, well, maybe if for someone who's got a small wrist, not big diameter, it might be an easy fix. So I decided to leave it, and I'll see how it on time when I gave it PiP. By the way, I gave it to her last night, and she's more than happy. So it looks amazing. It does look good. It's definitely one of the better ones. That's it. Getting that all in. I set that to what I thought was right, and it turned out to be spot on. Fits perfect, like a glass slipper. Okay, what we got here? It's all in. We finally get it to snap together, and this is it. And you'll see the finished article soon. I hope you've enjoyed it. There it is, PiP. It's all yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, it's been a nice project, and this is it. That's on her wrist last night. I love it, and it's so wonderful. So thanks for watching. See you soon.